Test. Test, 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 test. Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me? Okay. Let's start the stream. Welcome, whoever is joining. I wanted to do a stream because I wanted to get some ideas from you guys. What do we want to add to the game? What do we want to remove to the game? And I guess we can just give it a shot first. And see how it goes currently. So I don't know if you remember, but this is the game that I started building and never finished, because I never finished anything. And it looks to be good so far. Let's see. Straight away, the handbrake doesn't work. The camera is all messed up. Let's see if I can get a better view. I think it's the focus point. Yeah, it's the focus point. I messed up the wheel. It's supposed to be like this, with a little bit of camber. I think we had a tool somewhere in here that would allow us to add some camber wherever we want, which makes it look so much better. And let's see what happens when I do the handbrake, because it's definitely not working. I played so much Forza Horizon lately, and I just want the handbrake to work properly. And of course the camera is pathetic. But let's see what happens. The handling seems okay. The braking is all messed up, but it's messed up because I don't have ABS and it just slides. But let's see. I think the handbrake is not working because I have so much movement from the wheels. I mean the suspension is not strong enough, so it just swings right and left. We're kind of missing a map in here, and we need to focus on fixing the drifting, which seems to work fine for now. I just need to figure out a way to mess with the gears, and I cannot be bothered just connecting a controller. And yeah, I remember for some reason sometimes when it's straight, it just tends to go sideways, like this for example, without me pressing a single button. See? But other than that, it seems to work fine. It allows you to control the drift, and in order to do drifting you should have rear wheel drive, which this doesn't. This has all wheel drive. I think I made it in real time to change this. See if I remember correctly. It should just spin the wheels. There's just so much understeer. I still don't know how to fix the understeer. See, there's just too much understeer. I'm not even going quick. Is there a less complicated version? What do you mean? For racing? Yeah. It's called Unreal Engine, and it's 100 times better. It gives you so much flexibility. I tried it to make just a simple racing simulator, and it required like 10 minutes of work to just mount wheels to the wheel colliders, and everything is set by Unreal. Let's try and do when I press a button to make the camera just change this, because I'd like to view my car, and it's doing this weird thing. See, if I go forward, it seems fine. But if I stop and go in reverse, it doesn't really work. It's really glitchy. But there's so much work to do in this simulator. I obviously have to bake the lighting because it's absolutely terrible for now. There's so much to do. Why don't you just switch to Unreal? Well, because Unity is simple and Unreal is complicated, and I've been doing Unity since 4 years now. For example, right now I want to try and rotate, to just add a simple rotation to this focus point. I just have so much control over it. So for now, what we want to do is just add to this Y rotation, and as you know, rotations in Unity are not simple, but we're gonna try it anyway. So in order to do to detect when I actually press the screen, I think I need a canvas in here first. So let's try. I don't have a canvas. Let's try and adding a canvas. Yeah, here's a canvas, here's an image, and we have an event system. I don't know what this is. Let's just ignore it and hope everything works. Or actually, I don't need this. I can just do on button press and on button release. I think that was the syntax. Okay, let me switch over to Unity code. Here's the code. I hope you can see it. I can just zoom it a little bit if I know how to. I don't know how to zoom. Oh yeah, there we go. You should be able to see well. Okay, I'm gonna switch back to Unity because we're going to add in some functionality. So if you've been staying organized in Unity, which proves to be a little difficult, you tend to make these folders, and in these folders I have engine. Inside engine, it's usually, this engine is supposed to control everything in the car. So we have anti-roll bars. This helps a great deal, by the way. Camera controller, car controller inputs, and so on. Editor, if you've seen my script, editor is this. So when you add in a Ferrari, for example, and the Ferrari, I don't know if I should say Ferrari actually, because it's copyrighted, but we're doing it for educational purposes, obviously. So in Ferrari, I should have a wheel prefab. Here it is. That's the wheel. Just drop in the wheel, run checks, and you should be able to mess with the wheels. The only problem is that you cannot control Z in here. And the beauty of this editor script, I wrote this, by the way, I wrote this on my own, and the beauty of it is that you can do camber. And as we know, Unity Collider does not like to be messed around, so I found a workaround for it. And you can add camber. This is limited to 8, obviously. You can just go into the code, change it, and it makes the car just look better, miles better, in my opinion at least. And of course, that's the wrong one. You can just stick out the wheels as much as you would like, and it just works. Okay, I think I messed up the car now. I think I can just revert everything. Yep, here it is. Okay, so now let's try and add that functionality into the car. So what we can do is just drop in a script in here, because it has to rotate itself, and it does not have to accept anything from the outside. So what we can do is just add in some quick checks in here. First, I'm gonna go to the engine, create a new script called count rotate module, I guess. Build interrupted. Of course, Unity has to give you 1,000 errors. I hate it. Hablas español? No, I cannot speak Spanish. I get the car models from Google. You can just Google the model. Some of the models are free, some of the models you need to pay. I found this free. I don't remember which site it is. But I think I posted in a comment somewhere where I get these models. I haven't gotten any of these in like 5 or 6 months since I uploaded my last video. I've been kind of off programming and game development in general, so I'm trying to give it another shot. Okay, so we got the camera. Let me switch back to code. Here it is. Okay. So in here, ideally, what we need is just... we don't need a reference to anything. What we do need is some public variables. So let's declare a public float. Let's declare the lerp speed modifier. Default that obviously to 1. Lerp speed modifier. Okay, let's declare a public float, and what should we call this? I guess we can call it momentum speed modifier. Default is to 1 as well. I usually do a range in here from 0 to 10, like this, because it's easier to work over in the Unity editor. I mean, let's declare a start method. Since I'm working alone, I don't need private or public, so that's why I just deleted. And let's declare, guess we can declare a fixed update. Fixed update, like this. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to check if the button 0 is pressed or not. And I forgot the syntax. Let me just... let me just Google it really quickly. Okay, so I found this. It's just on Google. You can just Google get button down on Fire 1. Fire 1 is supposed to be the left click. We can just quickly test it. Let's declare a public boolean on mouse 0 press. This is going to be a default false. If that is pressed, we're just going to change that to mouse pressed is equal to true. Else, just going to default this to false. And let's see if we have something. Okay, yeah, we're back into the Unity editor. The focus script, the focus game object should have the script. Camera controller, that's not it. Camera rotate module. Okay, let's just drop it into here. That's it. It should work fine. it should not give us any errors. Let's give it a quick play. See how it goes. It should detect mouse 0, and it's not detecting mouse 0. I think it's detecting it, but this doesn't update because I had some issues in here. Let's just take it that this is updating. And if it's not updating, we can just fix it later. Okay, let's go back into the script. Welcome to everybody who just joined. For everybody that just joined, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a simple controller script that can do this. You cannot see it in here, but basically what it's going to do is it's going to rotate the camera so we can just view our car sideways. Okay, let's go back into the script. And this is really bad, by the way, using if statements inside of a fixed update. It just ruins your frame rate, but for the sake of simplicity, we're going to continue. If you want to steer organized like I do, what we can do is to avoid on rest like this. And we can do a void on really like this. And on pressed needs obviously a way of detecting how much you are sliding the mouse. So to do that, I obviously forgot the syntax. Let me just Google it real quickly. Get mouse movement, I think. And it was a simple formula, but I just forgot it. Okay, it's a vector 3. Ideally it's supposed to be a vector 2, but it's a vector 3 input dot position. We cannot declare that in here, so what we're going to do, delete that. And we're now going to give this a null. We're going to give it a new vector 3 of 0, 0, 0, like this. Okay, so that's it. Into the fixed update, we're actually on button pressed. We can just go ahead and calculate this. So we can say mouse position is equal to input dot mouse position, like this. It should give us a vector 3. Yeah, it does give us a vector 3, and later on we need to just calculate this. So if on pressed takes data from this, on released should just reset this to 0. So let's do mouse position is equal to vector 3.0. Later on we're going to have to turn this into a float because we just need the horizontal movement, but for now we can just keep it like this. And now let's actually use the onPressed. So since we have mouse position as a public, we can see it on the inspector. And when we have fixed update, let's just call these updates, these methods. So we have onPressed like this, and on released like this. Let's save this. Let's compile it really quickly. Right there. Okay, now let's give it a shot. We should see mouse position move when we press the mouse button. I think we can see the issue in here is that it's get buttoned down. Let me just show you really quickly. It's buttoned down, and if you've been noticing, it just gets one input and then it just goes into the else, which returns this to 0. So what we can do is just remove the down and it constantly gets buttoned. Let's save that, go back into Unity. Which car model am I using? It's a Ferrari. It's a pretty looking Ferrari. I don't remember the car model. I think it's in here. Yeah, it's SF90 Stradai. It looks quite good, especially the lights. But in Unity it looks like plastic because the graphics are you know what the graphics are in Unity, not particularly good. Okay, let's see if this works now. Is the stream pre-recorded? How else would I reply to your comments? Okay, now we have mouse movement. And it looks like the X is a horizontal one. Okay, we got something working in here. And now what we need to do is just do this. Okay, let's jump back into the script. It should be easy enough, but Unity likes to make life difficult for no reason. So no unpressed. What we're going to do in here is use a lerp inside the fixed update because we constantly want to rotate the game object and we want to do that smoothly. So we don't need this flag anymore and we don't need a if statement at all. So what we can do is just remove this, do this, and do this. Like this. Why is this not working? Shouldn't this return me? It's not equal to false, maybe. What does this return? This is supposed to return a true or a false. Returns true when the axis has been pressed. See what I mean when Unity just likes to make life difficult? This is supposed to return a true or a false. That's why this if statement works. But for some reason it doesn't work. And we're gonna leave it like this. Just gonna simplify it like this. So it takes less space. Okay, now what we want to do is just update the rotation each frame. So what we're going to do is actually declare a new, what do we need? Can I make an AI car? I already made that, but I can surely make it. Is it possible to make a tutorial on how to make steering wheel support to cars? I do not have a steering wheel, Therefore, I don't think I can make that, but it should be simple because it's the same input from a joystick or the wheel. Anyway, what do we need in here? We need a lerp function, and let's go with quaternion. Actually, no, we need transform dot rotation is equal to. This is supposed to be a quaternion. What about local? Ah, yeah, local Ural angles. This is supposed to give me a vector, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's a vector 3. Because I try to get away from Euler angles. I don't understand it, honestly. And since we have a vector 3, it's easy to work. What we can do is just vector 3 dot lerp from transform dot local Ural angles to transform dot local Ural angles plus. Actually, we cannot do plus, we have to do times, and we need a public vector. What do we call this? This is gonna be the modifier value. So it's just rotation modifier is equal to vector 3 dot 0, like this. So we are going to add to this. We're gonna add this. So just add this like this. This is gonna be 0 for now, so every time this goes to 0, it should just snap to 0. And this is obviously, let me just explain this to you really quickly. This is supposed to be a local rotation, so local rotation should snap it to 0. That's why we can just do this. We should be able to do that. Let's see if we can actually succeed. Next, it wants us the lerp, so lerp speed modifier times time dot delta time, like this. It's playing in it here. It says that I cannot. Okay, so since this is going to be defaulted to 0, what we can do is just, what can we do actually? I don't know. I guess we can calculate this down here. So on press, it's going to continue doing this. And then in here, we can do rotation modifier. So rotation modifier is equal to transform dot local Euros angle. Can I do that? Yes, I can do that. And then on top of that, we can do rotation modifier dot x. Can I do x? I'm trying to think because I don't want this to go to an infinite value. So what I can do is rotation modifier is equal to transform dot local Euler angles plus 1. Can I do plus 1? No. Can I do new vector 3 with 0, 0, 0? Can I do like this? Doesn't allow me. But if I add like this, it might give me an infinite value. Okay, let's try just adding, even though I know it's not gonna work properly. And let's just straight up add this mouse position. Let's add this into brackets because we want to modify this to times. I can do ×1. So movement speed modifier, just do this to this. And then rotation modifier should be into 0. And let's make sure that this rotation is equal to vector3.0, like this. I know this is not gonna work, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. Make a video series for complete core game development. I did that twice. Okay, fingers crossed. Let's see. Rotation modifier is not being calculated for whatever reason. Let's see what our mistake is. If this gets calculated, this has to get calculated as well, but it's not. Then why it's not working? Transform locally or angles. Oh, because I'm not using this. I'm doing this is equal to this, which is not ideal. You should get inputs on update, not fixed update. Honestly, it makes no difference. And you should not get an input like this. You should make triggers for it. It's kind of working. Let's add some limitation. Actually, it is. What I mean is that you should not. Let me actually just show you. You should never get an input like this inside of a script. This is kind of, I guess you can call it wrong, because there is some libraries that allow you to just add them from here, and it's called on mouse on button or something, I don't remember. But if you do that, it's gonna give you a void that you can just use, like this for example. And that usually never fails. This has a high chance of failing sometimes. I noticed this because I made a CSGO clone, if I can call it like that. It was terrible, but it was still a clone, in my mind, at least. Okay, so where was I? I wanted to limit this mouse position. So how could I limit that? It's actually simple. What I can do, is new vector 3, sightless vector 3. I can do this, and from this I can get to x, 0, and 0. It should, in theory, work. I think this may be in the second, like right here, but let's see it anyways. This is giving me only positive values. Will you save this live stream? Yes, this live stream will be in my channel for whoever wants to review it. Slight mistake in my code. As you can see, coding takes just so long. So the mistake is that this just gives me positive values, and I should just replace this. Actually, just replace this to this. And in theory, this should work. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Mouse X is not set up. Of course it's not set up. It is set up. Oh, never mind. I forgot a space. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay. We got a positive and a negative value, and it is just supposed to be in here. Okay, it's working, but it's giving me an issue when I release it. It's kind of snapping. And it's only happening in this side for some reason. But other than that, it seems to be working fine. Now we can view our vehicle. Does any of you have an idea why the snapping is happening? Yeah, I think it looks better like this. And I think we had a different core in here. Yeah. Let's give it the original orange look. It looks quite good. Anyway, let's delete that and let's focus on what we're doing. Can I make a train simulator or a ship simulator? Making those kind of things requires the water shader, which I'm not good at. And if you want a train simulator, then you just make a spline and make an object, follow the spline, that's it. You got a train simulator. I think I can even show you. Let me see if I can show you what I mean. Google.com. here's what I mean. I need to share my display. Okay, now you can see my display. So what I mean is you can just make a spline like this. The spline usually has these dots, so you can just move them around, and then you can have an object lerp to the next point, and it should follow the spline, and there you go. You have your train simulator. I hope I answered your question. Okay, what was I doing in here? Oh yeah, I had an issue with the rotating script. Let's see how I can fix that. So the issue is that this snaps back to 0. Let's try smooth damping. Usually smooth damping fixes an error when lerping cannot fix. I doubt it's gonna fix it in this occasion, but we're gonna try. How do you make the wheels have more or less grip? I made a convenient wheels manager. This is my script. I have put it in the Google Drive, and there's a tire grip, and you can make the tire grip very good. That's how you make it grippy. The script itself is kind of complicated because Unity itself is complicated, and it's complicated for no reason. It shouldn't be this complicated, but it is, and we have to deal with it. Let's see if smooth damping has fixed any of our problems. Let's see. No, it still snaps. Okie dokie. So there is one last thing to do in here, and I can't remember. I had a similar issue in the past. I don't remember how I fixed it. But usually when you have, like when you try to create a big game like this, what you do is you leave this, you leave this for later, and you focus on different things. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. please continue mobile racing series. If you've been following the trend of mobile games, you should have a pretty good idea on where it's heading. And I think it's pretty clear where it's heading. It's heading to a downfall. I personally started backing off from mobile gaming. I'd rather do this and have a smaller audience, but do this good, than make a rubbish mobile game that nobody's gonna play. I think you know what I mean. And I just remembered how you can fix this, but it's kind of complicated. You use quaternion.lerp, and that fixes basically everything. But this is quite good if you're just doing it for debugging purposes. Also, pay attention how laggy this is when I have the inspector open, and then as soon as I close the inspector, you see how smooth it gets. One more strong point to Unity. The next thing would be, what should be the next thing that we should fix in this live stream? I can actually demonstrate the grip that I mentioned earlier. Here it is. The one problem with this script is that this tire grip set of values, you cannot see it like this. Okay, wheels manager, here it is. Tire grip. Friction, find values. Setup wheels. Okay. So one of the problem is in this script is that some of these values are set up into the start. So in update you cannot just play around with the values. So you have to play, try the setup, then just adjust your setup. Usually you need more forward traction and your sideways traction should be less. I haven't found a very good setup for this yet, but you need to optimize it because this is a sports car and it's supposed to be rear-wheel drive, so you should put it on rear-wheel drive. It should have around 500 Newton meters, or actually more, and it should not start from 0, it should start from... Where should it start from? Let's start it from 100. This is supposed to be a torque curve. Obviously a torque curve looks like this. This is obviously when the turbo kicks in. So you have little power, then we have turbo, then we have more power. That's how usually engines work. And you have this curve in here. Let's make it like this. And it should look something like this. Let's give it 300 Newton meters. And let's give it some more forward. And the clamping should be the minimum of the grip that any of the tires will have. Usually 50 something or 60 should be good. Let's try it. Okay, if you pay attention to this rev counter or rev limiter or whatever this is called, the handbrake is just terrible. See, now it kind of makes sense because it has like 300 Newton meters and it's only losing grip with the first gear, which is 0. It should be 1, but it's 0. See, and now in the second gear, it barely loses any grip. But in high speeds, it's just uncontrollable. One of the reasons why it's not controllable is because of the angular grip. Let's try add some of that. What do you guys want to add to this game currently? Like, do you got any ideas? This map was given to me by one of my subscribers, and I left his name on the description. It's a super good map, by the way. It's got really good turns and stuff like that. Especially like this part, when you got the pit stop and everything. Let's actually give it a drive. This was supposed to be the catalog, if I might call it. It looks really good, by the way, having just one light. It's just that the blooming is not particularly good. The bloom is almost non-existent, but for some reason it just looks terrible. Other than that, I quite like it. The glass should be a little more transparent. I'm curious, what do you guys think? For some reason, I think this is too shiny. Maybe I need to mess with the... what do you call it? Like this, for example, yeah. This looks a little better. Okay, I feel like we should wrap today's video. It's just kind of a test. See if you guys like it, then we can proceed on adding elements to the game. Trying to make a racing game inside of Unity, which is kind of impossible, because Unity not very good for racing. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, everyone. What we did today is just make a super simple rotating camera so we can view our vehicle as it's going along, and even that is not particularly going good. But overall, I'm quite happy. with how it looks. I'm obviously no designer, so I can't make it look even better. But what I can do is add some pretty cool physics to the game. What I'm going to be focusing on the next stream, hopefully, is making the tires not just make us go sideways. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be seeing in the next stream. Have a good day.